All right. I am here with Jeff Hannan from Tucson, Arizona. Hey, Jeff.
Hey Jennifer, how you doing?
Good. I'm so glad that you were on that you on the show today because you have a unique story about how you came to eXp. You had your own brokerage and you had it for a while, but and then you decided to come. So can you tell us like a little bit more about your backstory, how long you've been licensed, and kind of what led you to open your own brokerage, and then ultimately what led you to eXp?
Sure. Got my real estate license in '99. It was kind of like the backup plan.
1999, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
And my wife had the real job. She was a scientist, and it was a small biotech company that kept merging and merging. Every time there was a merger, there's this big fear that there's going to be layoffs.
Yeah.
So like real estate was the backup plan at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it started to take off. As soon as I was eligible, I got my broker's license, started my own brokerage as just a solo broker, did not want to recruit agents and have, my license on the line if they messed up, didn't want to review contracts. But, and that went on for 14 years. And with the idea, I was like, okay, how do I scale this if I don't ever recruit agents?
Right.
I'm going to
But
be
what
showing
was your
houses.
thought process? Like, why did you even decide to open up your own brokerage? What were you thinking at the time?
I was just thinking I didn't need I didn't need a brokerage. I kind of like was doing everything myself,
Yeah.
didn't need the brand.
Because people really, buyers and sellers work with you because of you. They don't work with you because of the brand.
Exactly.
Okay. So you were like, I can make more money because they're not really providing support for what.
Right. And I didn't really explore a lot of the franchises. Knowing what I know now, I might have gone somewhere.
Okay.
If eXp had existed, I definitely would have, if I would have found out about it. But so fast forward to 2016, I'm humming along, doing fine, not looking to make a change. And my wife, she wants to retire. She's like, I'm burnt out. I'm done doing science. And she had a really good income. I said, no problem. I'm going to just have to up my volume a little bit. There's this product called Conversion. It's now called KV Core. It's $500 a month, but I hear great things about it. I want to get it. She said, okay, great. No problem. And just doing my last minute Googling on Conversion, I saw eXp provides it to all their agents for free. And I thought, oh, well, let me check that out. And I clicked on the site, and that by itself would not have made me switch and shut down my brokerage.
Right. That's not enough.
Yeah. It saves me $6,000 a year, but now I'm paying, a split and all that. But it did make me click and look at the rest of the website. And back then, I mean, we were a penny stock. So the stock was like, oh, that's neat. That's gravy. Right. But the rev share and the cloud campus to me were like, oh, wow. Now I can kind of, like, I work out of my home office. I don't like going places. So all the training available here in my pajamas was awesome. Yeah. But then the rev share was like a light bulb went off. It's like, now I can go recruit without being the broker, and I can scale and, not be showing houses when I'm 70. I have some sort of exit plan and build something and have some equity too. Because, after owning Hannan Realty for 14 years, I couldn't have sold it to anybody for anything. There was zero equity there. You can sell your database.
You can sell your,
Who wants to buy Hannan Realty?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Well, we did, my co-host Monica and I did get into a fight about like, what do you name your team name, or what do you name your brokerage? Right. And it's like, well, don't name it after yourself because it's less saleable,
Correct.
But how many agents did you have?
I had zero. I never recruited any agents.
Never. So you were just on your own by yourself.
Yep.
At Hannan Realty. And you were like, this is it. I just want to do my own thing. And like, that's it.
Yes. And so in May of 2016, I was like, it was like a 45-minute decision from seeing that first, whatever it was, a blog post about KV Core Conversion, to being on the phone with the Arizona State broker, Jim Newth at the time, who's now my sponsor. And he's since been promoted. I think he's senior vice president of operations or something. Nice. Super great guy. But I didn't get recruited. I had to find somebody to name as a sponsor. And I was like, might as well be the state broker.
Right.
And that's how I ended up with them.
So you said like you opened up your own brokerage, but you didn't want to recruit, but you also you wanted to keep more of your money. But then when you looked at this, even after looking at it and seeing, even though there's a split, it sounds like the financial benefit like was still there. Like it was worth it.
Well, here's the thing. When you own your own brokerage, the most you can get is 100% of your commission, and all of it's self-generated. You know, if you recruit agents, then you're on the hook for them, and it's extra work. It's another job.
Yeah. Because you have expenses associated with that. And I think you're tapping into a point that a lot of people don't realize. And it's like, okay, you can create a team, but expenses are exponential. And especially if you're recruiting kind of newer agents the average agent sells what, like 5 or 10 houses a year. Sometimes, like if they're on the low end of that, the 0 to 5, the expense of them outweighs.
Oh yeah.
The profit.
Yeah. You know,
the revenue, all of it.
And since they're not doing deals regularly, they're more likely to mess up a deal, and then you end up in court or whatever.
So what did you see? What did you see at eXp that was like, oh wait, this is better?
To be honest, the first thing I saw in the major part of my decision was revenue share, but being able to go out and introduce the company to agents and have them join. And to me, I thought it'd be way easier because, you know, it was a 45-minute decision. I was like, okay, people will see the facts and they'll just switch.
Yeah, right.
And I figured out that's not how it happens. Especially back then, there was nobody in Tucson. There was one agent in Tucson at the time. He was a full-time appraiser, but we had a branch here. So that was my first thing is I logged into the MLS and said, okay, if they're in Tucson, I can join.
Yeah.
But I would go meet with people and I would show them everything and they would get all excited. And then they would say, well, how big are you? And I'm like, right now it's just me. And it's like their eyes would roll back like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, good luck.
Yeah.
But, you know, kind of slowly grinding. Now we have 400 agents, I think, in Tucson. I've got about 100 of those.
Okay.
Plus, you know, I've got 4 or 5 states where I've got other agents as well.
Well, plus 80,000 over.
Oh, yeah.
So and the revenue share, yes, right. So the revenue share model, what do you say to agents that are like, I don't want to recruit? Because for you, it was like, I don't want to recruit anybody. And that's why I'm just going to stay my own because of the liability associated with recruiting people and the expense associated, and you reduce your profit, which a lot of people don't realize. But then when you came to eXp, you're like, wait a minute, the liability is released.
Somebody else is reviewing contracts.
It's not you.
And,
yeah.
But if somebody says, oh, I'm not a recruiter or I don't want to recruit, I say, great. 90% of our agents don't. They just take advantage of our tools and our stock and they sell more houses in our training and our national collaboration. I have a funny story about that because I have I helped bring on a guy who was the market team leader for a market center here for Keller Williams. And his whole, you know, if you know them, their only job is to recruit all day long, every day. So he's like, I'm joining. I'm not going to recruit. I'm done recruiting.
They burn out. That role burns out in like a couple of years easily.
And I'm like, no problem. Like, just come do deals. And so I, like a year and a half later, I see him. I'm like, hey, how much stock do you have? And he goes, I don't know. How do you check? And I'm like, what? So I showed him how to log in, and he's got $85,000 worth of stock sitting there because he's a pretty big producer.
Nice.
And he's like, oh, well, maybe I will recruit. And like one of his buddies from KW is a big stock guy. Is like, screenshot that and send it to him. So yeah, you don't have to be a recruiter to take advantage of all the awesome stuff.
Well, like you said, I mean, 90% of the agents don't. I mean, 90%, that means only 10% are.
Yeah. And I'd say 20% of my agents that I've brought to eXp reached out to me.
Yeah.
And said, hey, tell me about eXp. I've been hearing a lot about it. And we sit down and get coffee. It's not me cold calling agents. I haven't done that once.
Yeah. Nice. So what, give us like a couple of besides financial, what are your other couple of favorite things about eXp? Like
the culture of like collaboration and giving. I'll always pull up Workplace when I'm meeting with somebody and say, look at this. Somebody will post a question in here. Within 15 minutes, people from all across the country are giving solutions. Here's what I would do. I would do this, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, they have really no direct incentive to help you. They just do. Everybody's a stockholder, I think, which changes everybody's kind of
mentality.
Viewpoint. Yeah, the mentality on the company. It's like, if they win, I win.
Well, what do you think though? People do say like the stuff or the culture, like if you're not going into the office, like how do you have the culture just by the work chat?
No, like eXp world is after about 2 minutes, you forget you're in eXp world and you just feel like you're talking to somebody in the same room.
Right.
I have buddies like Doug Hayden, who Kim, his wife Kim gave you my name.
Yeah.
They were the first icon agents in eXp. Doug and I are like good friends. We just met for the first time in person last week, but we meet every Monday. We do a Zoom together with him and Pete Pavlik from Pittsburgh and Regis Beatty from Pittsburgh. And it's just, you make friends in eXp world, and then you'll see them at like a conference or something, and it's like your best friends already, and you go up and hug them, but you've never met them in person. I tell people you don't understand it until you experience it. I try to get people a guest pass as soon as possible so they can just go and mess around in there, because it really is, it's the thing that enables everything else in the company.
Well, the fact is like that's where our world is going, right? Like the
Right.
metaverse and these online, I mean, that's the future.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, do you have any final thoughts for people that are maybe considering or?
Do it. It's awesome. It's better than I thought it would be. And I thought it would be really good.
Yeah, awesome. And if people are interested in finding out more about eXp or they have a referral for you in Tucson, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Find me on Facebook. I'm there all the time.
Okay. So is it Jeff Hannan there?
Yep.
Okay. And Hannan is Hannan.
Correct.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on, Jeff. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks, Jennifer.
Yeah.